Okay, so today we are here today for our 2-foot high kick and seal hop tutorial training session. We have Nicole Johnson, our NYO head official, and Kyle Worrell, Junior NYO coach, and myself, NYO coordinator, Adele Villa. And we will go ahead and start off with a 2-foot demonstration video tutorial and demonstration, and then questions, and we'll do the same thing for seal hop. We'll show some video tutorials, a demonstration, and then available for questions. And then we'll wrap it up with any other questions along with both of those events. So I will go ahead and start with our 2-foot here. I just have to make sure I screen share with you guys. Not the right one. Make sure.
This event is called the 2-foot high kick. Kay will start by standing approximately an arm's length away from the string with her fists closed. The ball height is set at approximately mid-height. This is a good starting height. From here, she will jump off of 2 feet, kick with both feet, and land on both feet, maintaining her balance after she kicks. She must keep her feet even. They can be together or apart or connected right at the heels. When she jumps, she should be jumping straight up, bringing her knees and feet up towards the ball, and then landing on both feet, maintaining her balance either by sticking it or hopping around until she has control of her landing. It should look like this. After each successful attempt, the ball is raised approximately 4 inches at a time. Every time the ball is raised, Kay gets 3 attempts. She can also take a step or 2 back, but she must continue to jump off of both feet at the same time, kick with both feet, and land on both feet. You'll see here Andrew is using his arms, exploding off of his feet, bringing his knees up to his chest, extending his legs and feet up to the ball, while pushing his arms back down, then back up to help keep his balance as he hops until he catches his balance. Here's an example of a successful kick where both feet are even. Compare it to this, where both feet are not even, resulting in an unsuccessful attempt. The 2-foot high kick was used as a form of communication. A messenger from the hunting crew would run back towards the village. When he had the village in sight, he would do the 2-foot high kick, thus signaling to the village that the hunters had been unsuccessful.
So that was a demonstration of our older athletes, 7th through 12th graders. But I can go ahead and also show you a recording of our youngsters version, or juniors version. Oops. Can you guys see that whole screen? I think so.
This is the 2-foot high kick. Harry is going to start by standing in front of the ball about an arm's length away with his fist closed. From here, he puts his arms down, jumps off of both feet, kicks the ball, keeping his feet even and parallel. After he kicks the ball, he lands on both feet at the same time, keeping his balance by sticking his landing or hopping around until he catches his balance. This is what it should look like. After each successful kick, the ball is raised 4 inches higher. That's the 2-foot high kick.
Questions, possibly around 2-foot high kick. Sandy, if any. If not, Kyle, do you have any tips or recommendations for 2-foot, maybe how to train an athlete, where you can start with 2-foot for younger athletes, techniques that will help them? Kyle, what do you have for recommendations or tips for our athletes, parents, and coaches for 2-foot?
Yeah, so for 2-foot, especially with the younger kids, you really want to make sure you start at a pretty low starting height, depending on their experience. If they're new to it, I would say anywhere around 12 to 18 inches is a good starting height. So
Maybe right around knee height for beginners is a good starting height.
yeah, so
Yep.
and the biggest thing I always tell kids is measure, and it's for kids, it's gonna feel like they're standing really close to the ball, but they want to be close to the ball, so they can measure to their hands or even to their wrists. I think is a good distance.
Yep.
Jumping off both feet, kicking with both feet. A lot of times kids are going to try to kick out here, and that's when you're going to get them trying to kick and falling back on their bottom, which try not to do, but happens. So I always say with the kids, what's the first step? Measure. And I measure to the wrist or even behind the wrist, because they want to be close to that ball, and trying to tuck their legs, teaching them to bring the knees up versus a straight-legged kick is a little bit more challenging. Sometimes having them practice on a line to do the landing where they kick and then hop backwards. There's a lot of kids, it takes them a while to get that habit of keeping their feet. And so we'll just do kind of some hopping exercises, hop backwards.
So go ahead and stay right there, Kyle. And we'll do an exercise specifically for beginners. And that's putting your toes on the line and just jumping straight up and straight back down. So jump straight up and have the kids do that a few times. And then after they've done that a few times, then jump, kick forward, and then come back to the line. And then hop if they need to. That gets them a little bit prepared before they actually start kicking the ball. And that's one of the exercises I use for all of the kids in the schools, kindergarten through 6th grade, before we even get up to the ball. Just so they have an idea of what it's going to feel like jumping off of both feet, kicking both feet out in front of them, and then coming back and landing on both feet, then hopping around if they need to once they have kicked the ball to keep their balance. And then a lot of the things that the kids forget to do is use their arms when they're jumping. So using their arms to help them jump up plays a big role in their jump and how high they're jumping as well. And it also helps them keep their back and their head up straight instead of leaning forward to kick the ball. Anything else, Kyle, you'd like to add?
Sometimes with the really young kids, I tell them to think about like bunny hopping, because usually that's something little kids bunny hopping both feet, kind of gets their idea of both feet are hopping together, kicking with both feet. Sometimes that works for really young kids.
Yep. And then only 1 foot has to kick the ball as long as their feet maintain their level and even. Yep.
Got it. Trying to think of maybe other questions that I would have. But jumping is always a technique that you're trying to learn for 2 foot. Okay. I think those are all very, very helpful. Is there a way to, other than hopping with your feet together, is maybe there another way that parents could try to train their kids to keep their feet together?
Well, their feet don't have to stay together. They can be apart when they land if they want. So Kyle, if you want to pan back down when they land, there you go. That's okay as well, as long as both feet are moving at the same time.
All right, good to know.
Sometimes we practice doing broad jumps are really good for any like scissor broad jump or 2 foot. And that's just, I don't have enough space on camera, but it's just jumping both legs and having them swing their arms. That's really good for scissor broad jump too.
Yep. Just a good motion in general to be able to get down. Makes sense.
And then as they're trying to kick higher heights and learn how to bring their knees up instead of doing the bent-legged kick, sometimes we'll do box jumps or onto mats, finding a kind of a safe, stable surface to jump onto. And if it's like mats, you can keep bringing height to it, but that's a good way for them to increase their vertical jump because they're gonna be using their arms and they'll be having to lift their legs up using their core. Core is a big part of 2 foot high kick to engage your core to bring up your legs.
Yeah. So as they get older, you'll want to, like you said, focus on core strength as they get higher.
And flexibility.
Yep.
Yes. Being able to get your feet up there. Okay. I can't think of any other questions that I might come up with as a parent. Anything else for 2 foot that you two might want to add before we move on to seal hop?
Well,
Go ahead, Sandy.
Is there like a size limit on the kickball?
No.
Okay.
Nope. Any size ball. All we care about is how high it is.
All right. Thank you.
And it doesn't have to be a sealskin ball. It can be a wiffle ball or a stuffed sock or whatever you can make in case you don't have a sealskin ball.
Thank you.
A tennis ball too. That works as well.
Yeah.
Attached to some string or rope.
All right. I think that covers the 2 foot high kick. We can move on to the seal hop.
Okay, I will pull that up. Girls version?
Yes. This next event is called the girls seal hop. An athlete will start by lying on the floor with her fingers behind the line. Her feet are together and toes are tucked underneath. The official will say, "Ready, up." She must keep her body straight from her shoulders to her heels. If her bottom comes up above her shoulders, she's given 2 verbal warnings. On her 3rd verbal warning, she is stopped while she is hopping. The athletes measured from the start line to where they are stopped. The athlete who hops the furthest distance wins the event. Ready, up, hop, Hopping on both hands and feet, if the athlete reaches the other end of the gym, they turn around without pausing or stopping until they can no longer hop. That is the girl seal hop. So you'll see here that Kay is jumping off both her hands and feet at the same time and keeping her hips below her shoulders while she's hopping. There are two types of turnarounds when you reach the turnaround point. Kay is doing the traditional style, turning around without pausing or pivoting until she returns to a forward moving motion. The second way to turn around, you will see as Andrew crosses over the line, he pushes back without pausing or pivoting until he returns to a forward moving motion. The seal hop was played to help build strength and endurance to pain while they hop along the ice, imitating the motion of a seal. And when they got close enough to the seals taking naps on the ice, they would grab their harpoon off their back and harpoon the seals.
So that was our older athletes demonstration, and I will now show the younger version in a moment.
All right, this is a seal hop. Harry's going to start by placing his hands behind the line. When he's ready, he's going to get in a push-up position, keeping his body straight from his shoulders to his heels. When he's ready, he's going to start hopping on both hands and feet at the same time, as far forward as he can without stopping. It should look like this. When Harry's done hopping, we place the tape to the top of the fingers. We'll measure from that piece of tape to the start line. That is a seal hop.
Dan, do you have any questions for us for seal hop so far yet?
No question.
I'll let you take this one.
Oh, so the seal hop, there's a lot of technique to it, and just watching this couple of videos, I saw some techniques that they could try out. So for beginners, you have the line on the floor, and you want them to have their feet together. So I saw one example where she's pushing like that. You're gonna have more power if your feet are directly behind you and pushing together. Because then they're gonna stay in sync better too, because technically you're not supposed to be pushing off sync with your toes. So I always, you'll see kids just start like that. You'll kind of tell them, put your feet together. This is gonna power them straight forward. And the other thing I tell them is half your energy, at least half your energy comes from your feet. So in the some of the beginners, you're gonna see them doing a lot of work, trying to just use their upper body, and they're trying to jump up, which is wasting energy. You want to put all your energy going forward. And so still, the girls version is a little bit different, but you want to have some spring in your arms, because if you're straight, it can be a little bit harder, but I'll see if I can do a few hops in camera. I think it's really just like a very soft landing. You don't want to be doing push-ups at the same time. But push-ups are the best way, I think, to train for seal hop. Is you want to build up that endurance, and this is one that takes training, because I think the first time you do it, it is almost like a shock to your body. You're moving in a way that you're not used to. And so a lot of it is feeling it out, practicing it a few times, and then pulling in some of those techniques of feet together, trying to find a rhythm, and slowly building up your distance for hopping, because it can be kind of a challenging beginner game. But this is one just where it takes practice. It's not, some people can go into the high kicking games and be good at them right away. But I think the seal hop, knuckle hop, those games, they take training if you want to get better. And so having your athlete just do it multiple times, do push-ups, is really helpful.
Okay. I'm trying to think, because you said, you know, about 50% of seal hop is foot power. Do you ever work on calf raises or mobility in your ankles and stuff like that?
Yeah, we so I don't have sometimes we have straps, like rubber straps or weights where you can go like this and working at this muscle here and doing it repetitively. And for my high school athletes, I'll tell them to do like 100 of these. And it might be a rubber strap that's hooked onto something, or it might be a kettlebell that's hanging on your foot. But this is a muscle that's kind of forgotten about, that starts to burn and give out usually before your arms. And so we try to train there too.
Okay.
Another thing I saw in the video too is using your fingers. So since the girls and juniors seal hop, you can have your hands open, and so they're getting, I don't know, 5 to 10% power from their fingers just pulling on the floor.
Okay. Trying to think. And this one.
I would also recommend shoes, and finding shoes where you know you have grip right there. And sometimes it's just a matter of washing the shoes so there's not all that dirt, and then it starts gripping to your surface, the floor better.
And smooth. The top tips of the shoes should be smoother and not the rugged like outdoor style.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is one I use because it's pretty good. It's somewhat flexible in the toe so that you can push with your toes as well. Sometimes the shoe is so stiff you don't get any power because it's just like you're pushing like that because the shoe won't bend. But if you have a bendy one, it can go like that on the floor.
Nice flexible shoe that has, you know, good flex right at the tip.
Yeah.
Okay. So don't use your hiking shoes.
Yeah, a little bit too stiff.
Okay. Sandy, still no questions for seal hop? I just wanted to double check. And if you don't open your mic, then I will assume no.
No questions.
Okay. Anything you guys would like to add? I think that
I have athletes that don't like to use shoes.
That's fine too. It's not a big deal.
yeah, they're allowed to use shoes for seal hop.
Yeah, bare feet, shoes, mucklucks, it doesn't matter. I mean, you would know as a coach that socks aren't permitted, but if your only option is like outdoors on some surface that you need to use your socks, then that's understandable because we're making some special compensations for the areas that athletes can participate. Like we've got some videos of kids just doing it in their living room on their floor. So whatever areas they can actually compete in or on. If a gym floor is available, that's the best option, of course. But if they want to do it in their living room, their kitchen, on their carpet, or in their garage, and they want to put a little mat down in the garage on the concrete floor, that's fine too. That's all I got.
Well, if there is no other questions for both 2-foot high kick and seal hop, that ends our training session for our 2 events for today. We'll go ahead and post this on, get it edited, post it on our YouTube page, and we'll share it on Facebook and our social medias. And we'll see you guys in another 2 weeks for our last training session for Junior NYO.
Yeah, awesome. Hey, Sandy, great to see you and the kids. How was basketball?
Oh, yeah.